Don't hug me, I'm scared. Dark analysis. Hello everyone. Today we'll be diving into one of the strangest British series ever created. Don't hug me, I'm scared. A surreal mix of puppetry, children's parody and psychological horror, brought to life by Becky Sloan and Joseph Pellin. At first glance, it feels like an educational kids show. 3 puppet characters, the duck guy, the red guy and the yellow guy, sit down to learn about something new, guided by a cheerful teacher. But soon, the lessons twist into nightmare logic. By the end of each episode, something disturbing emerges, something wrong, grotesque, even horrifying. Before we begin, don't forget to leave a comment, subscribe and hit that like button. Your support helps me continue these deep dives into the eerie corners of animation and media. Meet the main characters. Let's start with the trio. Duck Guy, a green puppet, one of the central figures alongside the red guy and yellow guy. His favorite color is red. Among the 3, he often seems the most intellectual. In episode 2, he even offers the theory that time is an illusion. He's also fascinated by technology, as we see in episode 4, but his character has strange contradictions. Despite being a bird, he openly eats chicken and eggs. It's absurd, unsettling, and perfectly in tune with the show's twisted sense of humor. Yellow Guy, the youngest, with the personality of a child, easily scared and upset, yet naive and kind. In the beginning, he approaches the lessons with excitement, asking innocent questions, but after losing friends later in the series, he grows listless, frustrated, and even emotionally broken. Red Guy, the most adult-like of the 3, a tall figure dressed in a costume covered in red hair, with his eyes positioned at the top of his head. He comes across as the most cynical, perhaps the most detached. Often he shows little interest in the lessons, preferring to wander off and do his own thing. His passive resistance adds a layer of tension. He doesn't fully play along. So that's our trio. Around them orbit many teachers, secondary characters who seem whimsical at first but reveal themselves to be terrifying once you peel back the surface. Episode 1: Creativity. The first episode sets the tone. Titled Creativity, it opens with the 3 sitting at a table. Suddenly, a cheerful notepad springs to life, presenting itself as today's teacher. It bursts into song about the wonders of creativity, urging the characters to open their minds, think freely, and get creative. At first, the 3 don't understand, but as the song goes on, they start following along. The notepad insists they must unleash their imagination. From here, things grow strange. The puppets begin dancing to eerie music. In the background, the words "Get creative" appear, looming like a command. Outside, clouds gather, thunder rumbles. Duck Guy spells out the word "death" on the table. Red Guy smears glitter across a raw heart. The imagery becomes grotesque. By the end, they eat a cake that appears to contain human organs. They hug, smiling eerily. The notepad then twists the moral. Instead of encouraging true creativity, it warns them not to think for themselves. The disturbing irony is evident. The teacher preaches creativity, but only the kind that fits its own rules. When Yellow Guy paints a clown, the notepad ruins it with ink, scolding him to slow down. When he admits his favorite color is green, the notepad crosses it out. Green is not a creative color. The episode begins like a fun lesson and collapses into madness. The message: in this world, creativity is controlled, twisted, and weaponized. Episode 2: Time. The second episode focuses on time. We see the three characters sitting together in front of a television, waiting for their favorite show to begin. Instead, the screen flickers, and suddenly a new teacher arrives, Tony, the talking clock. Tony starts singing a cheerful tune about time. At first, it sounds educational, minutes, hours, days, but the undertone quickly grows darker. When the character suggests that maybe time is just an illusion, Tony snaps. He screams at them, his voice no longer playful but furious. The episode escalates. Tony demonstrates how quickly time passes, dragging the characters through distorted visions of aging. Their hair grays, their bodies wither, their faces collapse. It's disturbing, uncanny, a grotesque parody of the natural flow of life. And then the twist. What we were watching was, in fact, the show they themselves were watching on TV. Layers of fiction fold in on themselves. Tony is terrifying because he embodies contradiction. He insists he has no power. It's not my job, I'm just a clock. Yet he bends time, teleports, and manipulates reality. His authority is absolute, yet he pretends it's beyond his control. One line haunts the episode. Don't worry, everything will be fine. But eventually, everyone runs out of time. Behind the playful rhyme, the truth is brutal. Mortality is inevitable. Episode 3. Love. The third episode shifts the focus to love. It begins innocently. The three characters are at a picnic. A butterfly flutters by, catching yellow guy's attention. For a moment, it feels sweet, until dark guy slams it dead with a fly swatter. Yellow guy, heartbroken, runs off into the forest. There, he meets Shrignold the butterfly, who seems gentle, almost angelic. Shrignold sings about love, leading yellow guy upward, into a surreal heaven filled with other butterflies, all smiling and singing hymns to a god of love. But the sweetness curdles. The cult-like tone becomes clear. Their version of love is twisted, absolute, unquestioning devotion to a higher being. Meanwhile, red guy and dark guy are shown eating raw meat, while yellow guy is promised an eternal bride. The atmosphere shifts from warmth to cold horror. In the end, we discover it was all a dream. Yellow guy wakes in the woods, shaken, as his friends find him and gift him an egg. From that egg hatches a grotesque homunculus, rising, disturbing, unnatural. The message becomes unsettlingly clear. What began as a lesson about love dissolves into imagery of cold indoctrination, blind faith, and corrupted affection. Even love, perhaps the most cherished human value, is not safe in this world. Episode 4. Technology. The fourth episode begins with the trio sitting at a table, playing a board game. Red guy draws a card with a simple but impossible question. What's the biggest thing in the world? Before anyone can answer, a globe named Gilbert springs to life, ready to explain. But almost instantly, he's interrupted by Colin the computer, who barges in, demanding attention. Colin launches into a song about his brilliance, about the wonders of the digital age. He boasts about knowledge, data, and the limitless potential of computers. The trio is drawn in. Colin then invites them to enter the digital world itself. But once inside, the illusion cracks. The digital realm is empty, shallow. There are only three activities: charts, digital style, and digital dancing. A parody of infinite possibility reduced to three meaningless loops. Dark guy marvels, "Wow, we're computery." But red guy sees through the emptiness. Frustrated, he tries to interact directly with Colin's keyboard. Colin explodes in rage, his cheerful mask slipping into authoritarian fury. Reality glitches. The puppets are trapped in fractured pixels. Red guy, desperate, pulls the plug from the socket, and then the fourth wall collapses. He steps out, only to see "Don't hug me, I'm scared" being filmed in real time. One of the creators casually presses a button and blows Red Guy's head apart. This episode is more than parody. It's a statement. Technology promises infinite knowledge, but often reduces us to hollow repetition. And those who question the system, those like Red Guy, are punished, deleted, silenced. Episode 5: Healthy Eating. The fifth episode takes a darker, almost grotesque turn. The teachers this time are food items: a slice of bread, a fridge, a can, and a massive slab of raw meat. Together they sing a cheerful tune about healthy eating, but their song is nonsensical, contradictory, and meaningless. The phone rings. Duck Guy answers and suddenly finds himself strapped to an operating table. On a nearby screen, episode 5 continues to play, blurring the line between show and reality. The food teachers block his escape, forcing him to keep listening. He grows desperate, angry. In his struggle, he knocks over the camera, only to wake again on the operating table, where a monstrous can begins devouring him alive. Meanwhile, Yellow Guy listens silently, obediently. He consumes the contents of the cans, which disturbingly include platypus meat, until he swells grotesquely, bloated and helpless. In the credits, we see Red Guy walking away from a phone booth. It's implied he was the one behind the calls all along, orchestrating from the shadows. The lesson about healthy eating mutates into horror. Instead of clarity, we see confusion. Instead of nourishment, there's decay, cannibalism, and consumption. The show mocks how education can be hollow, or worse, destructive. Episode 6: Dreams. The final episode begins quietly. Yellow Guy goes to bed. He is alone now. The others are gone, consumed in earlier horrors. He turns off his lamp and closes his eyes, but the lamp flickers back on. It starts to sing, forcing him into a lesson he never asked for. This time, the topic is dreams, but it quickly spirals into a nightmare. Yellow Guy drifts into a black abyss, sinking, drowning in darkness. He is trapped in endless layers of dream and nightmare, unable to wake. Then we cut to Red Guy, who is alive, but in a sterile office setting. He longs to return to his friends. He hums the songs from earlier lessons, trying to reconnect. But the others around him, rows of identical Red Guys, stare blankly. His nostalgia becomes rebellion. He wanders into a strange, tiled room. A tape recorder speaks, a microphone whispers. He discovers a screen playing "Don't hug me, I'm scared" in real time. For the first time, he glimpses the machinery behind the universe. At the control board sits a figure, Roy Gribblestone, Yellow Guy's grotesque looming father. Roy is revealed as the true antagonist. He is the one pulling the strings, manipulating the teachers, orchestrating the suffering. His monstrous hand reaches for the controls, switching lessons, inflicting terror. It becomes clear the teachers were never independent. They were tools, programs, and the characters themselves, puppets within a puppet show, prisoners of a system controlled by Roy. Red Guy, realizing the truth, pulls the plug. The machine dies. The universe collapses. And then a reset. We see the trio back at the table, just like in episode 1. But something is off. Their colors are wrong, mixed, and swapped according to their favorite colors. It's a new cycle, a rebirth, or perhaps just another loop. The world of "Don't hug me, I'm scared" doesn't end. It restarts. The nightmare is eternal. Epilogue. the meaning behind the madness. At first glance, Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared looks like a parody of children's TV. Bright colors, singing teachers, simple lessons, but beneath the surface, it's a reflection of control, fear, and manipulation. Creativity is restricted, policed, and twisted. Time is a tyrant, inevitable and cruel. Love becomes cult indoctrination. Technology promises knowledge but delivers emptiness. Food education mutates into cannibalism and decay. Dreams dissolve into endless nightmares. Every lesson ends not with wisdom but with horror. Every attempt to learn ends with corruption. The teachers are not mentors, they are oppressors. And above it all looms Roy, the father, the system, the hidden puppeteer. He embodies control itself, ensuring the characters never escape the cycle. The final reset suggests something chilling. Even if you break free, even if you unplug the machine, the cycle will restart. The system adapts. The horror never ends. This is what makes Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared legendary. It's not just surreal puppetry or internet horror. It's a parable about life in controlled systems, about blind obedience, about how hidden forces corrupt innocence. Behind every cheerful song is a command. Behind every smiling teacher is a jailer. And the scariest part? It's not just a show, it's a mirror.